Thanks for joining us, everyone. This episode of Skirmish Supremacy is brought to you again by Death Ray Designs. You can check out all their awesome products for all your wargaming terrain and basing needs at deathraydesigns.com. Do not forget to check out their Kickstarter. Right now, they're running a dual Kickstarter. It is Black Site X and Rapid Vanguard. Perfect terrain for your 40K games, your Infinity games, or any other type of sci-fi game in between. You can check that out at Kickstarter.com and look up Black Site X. That's Black SITEX. You can find it right in there. They're about halfway through and halfway funded. They could definitely use your support. This episode is also brought to you by my local gaming store, Gigabytes Cafe, located here in the metro Atlanta area. If ever you're in town and you want to go in for one of the best gaming places in the area, and you're hungry, and you want to get a sandwich, you want to get a coffee, you can get it all there. On top of that, you could buy just about anything else you want, from role-playing games, board games, miniatures, hobby supplies, and I can go on and on and on all day, but we don't have that much time. Thanks for tuning back into Skirmish Supremacy. Stay tuned for the episode. Hit the recorder, give it a few seconds to kick in, do its thing. All right, everybody, we are back. This time we are here with Marcin from Awaken Realms. He's going to be talking about his new Kickstarter for Awakening, which is his gaming terrain that's primarily used for 40K in Age of Sigmar, but has many applications for other games. Marcin, how you doing?
Yeah, hey guys. Perfect. Everything is perfect here.
Yes, and as usual, I am joined by my co-host, Nick. Nick, how you doing over there at 5 o'clock in the morning?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm alive. I've got caffeine.
Yeah, I've got some of that too.
Yep.
So, awesome. So, Marcin, tell us a little bit about Awaken Realms and kind of your history and how you jumped into making the War Games terrain. How did you guys all get started?
All right, yeah. So, well, that's kind of funny story because the Awaken Realm started around, I guess, 2 years ago, and primarily it was just me and my friend. So basically, we are both kind of geeks. You know, like we started with computer games, then switched to 40K mainly, and Adrian, my partner, and the guy that we started this company with, we started to paint, and he said like, this is like an awesome thing to do, and there's like a business potential in there as well because we're both after a business education. And like after sitting down for some time and looking more into it, we decided to do a company, and we had some. Because at that time I was working in a corporation and I got my my own office and everything, so it was pretty good. But there was something lacking in there. You just was there doing some stuff that you were not interested in. I was actually in financial sector, so it was the worst. and yeah, we decided that we'll just make like a big leap of faith and just throw it all away and start something in a basement. So yeah, this is I like to joke myself that this is kind of like an Apple story, that we started in a basement and hopefully in 10 years time we'll take over the world. but yeah, in the end it was like we both started to paint, and we just wanted to bring a little bit of professional approach to the painting services, miniature painting services, because what we have saw a lot is a lot of people offer services, but they don't do it in a very professional manners regarding the time frames, regarding the customer service and everything. So we were used to all those, very rigid business procedures and approach, and we wanted to implement it into this market, and it actually worked pretty well. So right now we have a painting studio composed of around 20 painters,
Okay,
which is which is a lot. And this is like a really great crew. All of them have some artistical background, so they are mostly painters with 5 years of experience. So they can do like all sorts of miracles with it. I'm not even as close as good as they are regarding like doing freehands and all those crazy stuff. So yeah, this is like our core business currently. So we are mostly a miniature painting studio. Around 8 months ago, we've done the project The Edge. This is our own game. Actually, right now we have sent around 60% of rewards to our bakers, and like 98% of them are really happy with the product and the game as well, because this is something different. Maybe another time we'll speak a little bit more about The Edge, because I think that what we did is something fresh in the wargaming systems. And obviously, in the process of those games, we also we started with an idea that we'll just like make the idea for the game, and all the production will be outsourced to other companies. But then the other companies were starting to following the deadlines and everything, and we kind of get pissed off and thought like, okay, let's do production in-house. And we've done all the process in-house right now, from making the models, from printing the models, from resin cast, and everything that is just working, and the quality is really good. So we thought like, if we have all that, we can do some side projects like resin bases or terrains, and this is where the awakening started. So the idea is to do some terrain, mostly, like you said, used to in 40k. It can be also used in Age of Sigmar, War Machine, Infinity, whatever you like to put them. But I think that our main focus were obviously 40k, because we have like objective markers in our offer, portals and stuff like that have not only a terrain sense but also a gameplay sense. And the idea was that we saw a lot of terrain. Being a painting studio for a year, you have like you basically seen everything in the market, and the thing that we thought lacked was kind of spatial terrain that would, for example, we introduced like a floating crystals or floating demonic totems, and we wanted to get a hold of this idea of something that is, for example, floating or is very high and have like a lot of crazy design ideas. And this is what we wanted to do. And I think that if you look at our Kickstarter, it kind of captures your attention. And if you put it on your table, it really can make like a very cool difference, because it will add a lot of details to your table.
Yeah, I was actually looking at this the other day, and I was actually quite blown away by the fact that normally I see a lot of floating stuff coming from other companies, and it scares me sometimes, because I always look at it from the standpoint, if I take this to a gaming store and put this on a table, and I'm playing against some guy that I don't know, all it takes is him to move wrong that one time, and he'll just shatter this thing.
Yeah.
So, anytime I see anything floating, to be honest with you, it kind of freaks me out. But after looking closer at your project and, really kind of sitting there and taking a look at it, you guys added that great floating effect, but you gave it plenty of points on the actual sculpts themselves to where it's sturdy, which I appreciate, especially from a gaming standpoint.
Yeah, I know. Because, like you don't only want the terrain that looks good, but you also want it to last long. Because like it's a cool thing. So that's why, for example, on the demonic totems you have the this was kind of a problem, as you said, like to make it look floating, but on the other hand to make it stable and good to cast and good to play use. So for example, we used chains, so like a lot of chains so the effect is that there are demonic hands coming out of the ground and holding chains for the totem that is trying to defy the gravity, right? So they are just like keeping it in place. So like story wise it looks good, and on the other hand it is useful as well. So
yeah, same thing with the floating, not to focus just on the demonic portals right now, but
Sure.
you did mention them. even with the gates themselves, the two portals, the fact that you have the magma that's flowing down off of the tips of the spikes, kind of acting as the anchors, like it still gives it that effect that it's floating, it's vibrant, it's moving, but it gives you a stable base on it, which again I really appreciate that just from looking at so many other things that I've seen come out that, you know, I look at them and I go, it's beautiful. If I was to put it with a display piece, putting it on a table is very iffy to me. So, you know, I definitely appreciate a lot of the work that you guys put into this. It looks absolutely killer.
Thanks, man. I mean, the thing is that our 3D sculpture always do, and I'm very lucky, man, regarding the people I work with, because they have a lot of talent. And the thing that they approach, I've seen a lot of companies, a lot of 3D modelers, and I think that what we have a little bit different is regarding the approach you take when you're working on the model. This means that when we start to do a model, we're not, you know, like starting to think of like, okay, let's do, I don't know, an elf or whatever, and just, you know, like get on with it. But first what we do is to think about a story. So, you know, like what is happening there, what is the story behind it, why does it look like this or not that. So for example, the portal you mentioned, you can see the hands coming out of the portal holding on the pieces of the portal, and the idea is that, you know, like the demonic world is capable of creating some kind of wrap in reality, but it's very close, very fast close back because of the laws of the magic in this universe. So basically there are few demons in the demonic world that came first out of the portal and are sustaining it, so the rest of the army can get out. So, you know, like all those little details have their part in the story, why it is happening like that.
Yeah, it looks really, really, really cool. So let's talk about some of the other pieces. We've pretty much covered the demonic stuff.
Yep.
I mean, those are the ones that really stuck out to me, and maybe I'm biased because I'm a Korn player, but
okay, that's all the other.
So the next one I was definitely looking at was the steampunk Tesla, because I know a lot of friends of mine that play Wild West Exodus and Malifaux and things of that nature. I know they would really get into this set. So when you were designing this one, what were your concepts you had in mind?
So basically, the effect of electricity in the, you know, like in a Tesla way is kind of very interesting to implement, and it is very cool to paint. So we, as a painting studio, we also wanted to develop the pieces so that when people will paint it, it will not take a lot of skills for you to achieve something that looks really effective. And this is the set that perfectly resembles that, because you can have it painted with any metallic and then add layers of blue and white, and you have like really cool effect that will just, you know, like strike on the battlefield. So it is, as you said, it is meant to mostly for a steampunk players. When you're thinking steampunk, one of the first thing that is coming to me is just like, you know, like all those crazy effects, all those crazy inventions that are connected with electricity, because this is the era when, you know, like electricity is like new thing, and, you know, like everyone is going to use it. So we wanted to put it in the test on the battlefield, and I must say that a lot of people who play, for example, Mechanicum also said, and Malifaux, as you said before, and Hordes, they really liked it, and they will be saying that this is something that they lacked regarding the steampunk.
Yeah, it's really cool. I was even looking at the barricades on this one, and you know, the potentials for use in different games. Your barricades, for example, have a concrete feeling with rebar running through it, so it's all damaged. And I really like that look, because I feel that you guys took the time to really look in depth at what it takes to make concrete.
Yeah.
And put the details in there. So I don't know if you guys just went out back and broke up your sidewalk with a sledgehammer or something to get that effect.
No, but that'd be cool.
Just tell them it's for reference. You can write it off.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, when we were designing the demonic sector, we definitely just went to the demonic realm and see everything, and that's where we got the idea.
Yeah, well, scare the neighbors a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah,
It all
just
works.
yeah, sure. Yeah,
Awesome. So yeah, then to round out your core set is the floating crystals, which I know a couple of my buddies that would absolutely love to get their hands on these. So I know they're going to be listening to this when I upload this a little bit later on here. These to me are the design on them is really really cool. Everything about the circular motion on them. Again, you took the time to make the bases really sturdy. What were your kind of design aspects when it came time to the crystals? Because I see a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, crystals are more of like a standard fantasy realm. I think that the like a lot of there when you see all the wargamings and the Kickstarter projects right now, they are all about something like a lot of post-apocalyptic games and a lot of like dark, gloomy stuff that like you have like all the Cthulhu nightmares and everything. And we wanted also a set that will find use in like classic fantasy games, which is not too much serious, have this kind of like magical feeling to it that will just represent the amaze of the world of fantasy magic, right? So you basically one of the inspiration was, for example, the Avatar. So when you have all the floating islands, so we just imagined a land where you have like a lot of crystals and a lot of floating crystals all around, and they have like all those vast, beautiful colors. On our website, we have all of them painted in blue, but you can as easily make a lot of different colors to represent how they, all those aspects of magic and something untold. So for me, this is just like like a classic fantasy type, which it is not too grim. It is just like to represent the magic. Although the portals, a lot of people said that the portals looks very rap-like from the chaos player perspective. That if you paint it red, it could represent like the kind of like the crash in reality where the demons can come. So
yeah, the portal itself, like I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, so you could make this look like a very hopeful, happy piece,
exactly,
or you could make it look like Cthulhu's going to come through that thing at any time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely has that look where it's like, depending on how you paint it, is going to completely determine what this is going to look like when it's done.
Yeah, that's why we painted it in blue, because we wanted to keep this in a little magic special place. But like if someone will go with crazy red and like add the little schools, then it will definitely like another look. But like this is one of the cool things about this hobby. You can like by painting and a little bit of imagination, you can just do whatever you want, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I also noticed with each of the sets you have bases. So the sets come with portals, objective markers, totems, and was it wall pieces? Yeah, wall pieces and barricades, or a barricade and a tower as you have it listed.
Yeah.
So and then you have base sets that tie it together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I noticed those are an additional add-on. And those look like they're right up to snuff with everything that's going on, Age of Sigmar and new 40k basing standards.
Yeah. We will basically what we'll do with the objectives and the totems, because a lot of people ask us for us, is the objective marker and the totem itself will be delivered with untouched, and you basically get a 40mm base, which is a standard for Warhammer 40k. You'll also have a possibility to get a 30mm base, so that you use which is more of a 30mm, or the War Machine, which is 50mm. So basically, you can apply it to any game you like.
Okay, cool. Can you repeat that one more time? It was breaking up just a hair, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of edit magic, but that's fine.
Yeah, sure. So basically, what a lot of people ask us is to provide them in different size for different games. For example, the 30 millimeter objective markers, stuff like that, and one machine 50 millimeter. So what we decided to do is to make the objective markers and dot them in a way that they will fit on every base from the 30 millimeter to 50 millimeter range, and we'll provide it with additional plastic base. So basically you get the 40 millimeter standard plastic base, but you can also get a 30 millimeter or 50 millimeter base, so you can use it either in War Machine or Malifaux or obviously Warhammer 40k or Age of Sigmar.
Cool. So it'll work on a beveled or a round lipped.
Yep.
Perfect. Awesome. And then I noticed you had some other sets that you're looking at doing for unlocks. You've got the sci-fi. Nick, I know you've probably been looking at these pretty closely. I know you like a lot of the retro sci-fi stuff.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have. Oh, I've been looking at all the sets. And the part I love the best is that on the Kickstarter, you can get it painted.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't notice that part.
Yep. It's one of the last pledges. It's a full painted terrain set.
This is wow. Yeah. We have like 2 painted pledges, which gives you there is a just painted pledge, which means that you can pick one and we'll paint the picked one, and you can save around 10% or our normal rates. And you have the full terrain painted, so all the 3 standard sets, so Demonic Wastelands, Tesla, and Floating Crystals, and you save around 20% on our normal rates. So.
Oh wow, that's it's pretty crazy.
It's it's why the Kickstarter is for, because you need to wait more, so that's why we want to offer like way better price, so it will make sense for you to get in right now and not wait 6 months for it, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, it makes sense. I've had my dabblings in Kickstarters before with other companies I've worked with, so I kind of know the routine when it comes time to that. And anybody that hasn't used Kickstarter before, for our listeners, you always have to be patient. Again, this is not a fully developed product. They don't just have it sitting on their shelf.
I can tell you, because with the Edge, I don't think that our bakers, because we didn't tell them everything, but we've been through a lot with this project. Trust me, like a lot. My perspective just changed like 100 degrees. It was just crazy sometimes. Trust me. We gathered with the Edge around £54,000, which like for average person, he would say like, "Whoa, that's a lot of money. You can do pretty much everything with it, right?" But yeah, I think we ended up with adding more than we actually gathered. So, like basically probably after the production and retail sales will get to this point where we'll be put in zero. But the biggest problem is that you just don't expect so many things to go wrong. And there's like a lot of possibilities, from shipping to models to casts to business partners who, like do bad job for you, and just like a lot of pitfalls there. So, the Kickstarter is a pretty great possibility for new companies to learn stuff. But as a baker, you need to take in account that it is like very possible that there might be delays, and like I know a lot of projects that had delays like 1 year or 2 years. So yeah, we ended up with about 3 or 4 months delay. So I think it is not as bad, but I know a lot of companies that are really struggling with it. So.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. One of the things that I've seen a lot of Kickstarters do in the past is they overpromise on what they can do.
Oh, definitely, yes.
And that sometimes can be a bit of a strain on people. I got friends back at home in Wisconsin that were very much. They looked at Kickstarters as like, well, I'm going to pledge on this. They're going to take my money, and then at some point it's going to show up, and it's going to be like a surprise because I forgot all about it. They kind of grown used to the fact that it's not going to just take 3 months after the pledge manager closes for this product to arrive. They know that it's probably going to take sometimes close to 6 months to a year.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there are some companies who just treat the Kickstarter as a pre-order, like cool mini or not, and everything. So they are just like probably on time and everything. But when you're making a new company, you need to take into consideration. Though I must say that it's kind of crazy, because when I look at Kickstarter nowadays and I'm looking at what they offer in the price, I'm like 100% sure that it is impossible to deliver with not even in the cost. I'm not even saying about making profit, but not making a huge loss on that promise. So it kind of makes me a little bit worried of the future of the Kickstarter, because if too many people will get burned, it can get unpopular. Yeah.
I actually just recently had a Kickstarter that they've been in development for a year, 2 years since I backed it, and they just said that they're going to have to launch another one to finish development.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm talking about, because people also basically what they're doing is what I see. They don't calculate correctly. They just taking the prices that someone emails to them, not even present a fully business offer, but just sending in emails from China and or whatever, and they take it for granted. And they take it for granted. They take in that they will make everything perfect in the first try, so there will be no additional costs, and this is all costs that they will be. Another thing is that people, for example, don't calculate the VAT tax in the European Union, and you need to pay it. It's 23%, and there's a lot of those things. So I know when we were calculating the edge, we actually were taking a huge margin, because I had a previous business experience, and I knew that if you have calculated the cost, the best way to make it reasonable is to double it, and probably maybe you will fit. And what I see right now in people is just they calculating the cost and giving discounts to that, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, they're almost giving I've noticed with some Kickstarters, they almost give things away for, sometimes just for free, it seems like. They go online, they put on a retail, a typical retail cost, and then they're like, oh, you could get it on here, it's 70% off. And I'm like, how are
exactly.
We're all doing this to get a new product out there, and people at least want to break even on a Kickstarter before they start selling it to the masses.
Yeah.
So,
yes. Especially that you have no guarantee that you will do well in retail. It is not that easy. There's a lot of products right now. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know that the American market, I know it's a little bit different in the European market. Distributors will take a little bit more of a risk on a product. In America, they almost want a guarantee that they're going to sell through about 80% of a product before they even consider picking it up. So I know there's a lot of times it can be really tough.
Or basically you need to, I can tell you from experience, you need to, for example, send them 500 copies without getting paid. And when they will sell something, then you will get some money.
Yeah, so they hit you with more of a consignment side.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe we'll sell something, but you don't have a guarantee, but you need to froze your assets. So that's
Yeah, that can be harsh sometimes, depending upon who's doing it and if they have your best interest in mind.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to say that it is a very hard market and so on, because what we met up with is a community of such a great people. Our bakers were so amazing regarding they helped us on every step of the way. For example, proofreading the rules, making the storyboards of the edge and everything. So I'm not wanting to say that it is a bad market. Just the opposite. I think it is a tremendous opportunity and a lot of awesome people, but I think that some people have very naive approach to it, and sometimes those Kickstarter projects, I for the past half a year, I saw at least 10 projects that I looked at it and I was like, they will never going to deliver that.
Ooh, yeah.
Hopefully they will, but
Yeah, and sometimes I know companies like to take a little bit more time on things. One of the ones that I keep thinking about is Kingdom Death's Monster. That took him almost 2 years to deliver.
But we had those models. The quality is just...
Right.
It's just best plastic on the market. It is on the level of Games Workshop. So what this guy did is really amazing. yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people got really pissed off when they were waiting so long for that. I don't think anybody had anything bad to say once they actually received that box in the mail.
But one of our bakers actually told us very interesting thing, and it stuck in my head that like when you have a great game coming out or great movie or any great product, no one will ever tell like this is the best on-time product. It's like when you will really deliver a great product, no one will focus on it that it is late. So basically, like better to make a little delay but to deliver a really great product. So that's
very, very true. I think the other thing too is being open with your backers.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've seen a lot of companies fail in, is that if you want to talk about feeling like someone's just in it for the cash and taking your money, back at Kickstarter, and if they don't update anything, that's the first feeling you're going to get. Oh, they just want my money.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think that some bakers, some companies can be like ashamed of, because it is actually a tough thing to do when you need to go in front of the like for example 1,000 people who trusted you and say that like we failed in calculations this correctly and this and this and this is problematic because we didn't see it coming. It is a tough thing to do. I mean, it seems easy because when you're sitting, but there will be always around 10% of people who will slam you for it. So it might be hard, but in the end, I think that this is the right thing to do, to just like let people know where they stand, because the worst tactic you can do is just like hide your head in the ground and like try to look like nothing happened. That's
Absolutely. So kind of jumping back into the Kickstarter here, I also noticed that you had this pledge on a battle banner. So you got 3 battle banners that actually they look for lack of better terms, I guess generic, so you could paint whatever icons you want on them, which I just noticed that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's one of the. But what I think it is interesting regarding the pledge manager that you could see is if you scroll up to the top of the website, we have a special deal, and it is like really good deal, really good deal. Trust me, this is practically the best you can get on this Kickstarter. The special deal crystals.
Oh,
just
wow!
On the top.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the LED crystals. So they have a lamp inside with batteries, and they come in 3 colors. So you have 3 of those crystals. They are pretty huge because they have 7 or 8 centimeter high, and you also get 5 crystals in the set in transparent resin, and all of that is for £8, which will be around $11. Which is a really good price, and I don't think that you'll ever get it into retail in those prices, because it's basically the cost of production. So,
yeah, I was gonna say with something like that, I could see that being maybe, I'd say $22-25 in a full retail here in America.
Yeah. Because what is really cool about it is you don't need to paint it, and it looks really good. I mean, you can also, in one of the updates, check out the video regarding it, and you just you just put the battery in, just light it up, put it on the battlefield, and no painting required. The transparent resin combined with the LED is just looking really good. And the cool thing about it is that the light is not just shining, but it is pulsating. So it's getting harder light, lower light, harder light, lower light. So which creates this dynamic and magical effect that really with it.
Yeah, that's really cool. At first, just looking at the picture, I thought it was just stayed lit up, but if it pulses like that, that adds so much more to it.
Yeah, a little bit lower, you can see at the space walls next to it, and you can see how actually good it looks on the battlefield. I didn't expect it to look that good, if I went to honest, because we just played around with a few things just to see what we can do or see, and afterwards we developed a sci-fi set. So if you'll go down a little bit,
Okay.
And there's also the use on the totems of the LED light. This is actually a green light.
Yeah.
So it will come also pre-painted in black, and there's a light inside of it, also pulsing. And the objective markers currently will have only a render, but it will be constructed in like that. The base will have the light inside. The laser thing will be in transparent resin, so the light will be shining through it, and then the rest will be in normal resin. So it will.
That's awesome.
Hopefully it will create the effect that the totem is floating in the air on the laser thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I really like that. So, I noticed that there's 2 more things that are left to unlock on that one. Are you able to hint on those a little bit?
Yeah, actually they've been unlocked today, but I didn't have time to update it. We have a new stretch goals. We can take a look at them a little bit later. But yeah, we didn't make the portals yet. But our main inspiration for that is all the sci-fi token is basically. I'm not sure if you saw the Tron Evolution movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically this is my dream. I mean, because I'm a huge Tau fan and Tau Empire, and I always wanted to have a full army painted in those style and the whole battlefield with LED, with exactly like those kind of aesthetics, because I think it's just very futuristic. It is more or less easy to do because you have only like so-called edge highlights, right? But it just creates this amazing effect of something really sci-fi, really cybernetic, right? For me, so basically we were going this direction with like things that will have this high technology feel to it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I could definitely see an entire set looking like that, especially if you already have your Tron Tau painted up. That would look amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
I think I'm not alone with the Tron inspiration, and also if you want to check the latest update, the 5th.
Okay. Let's see here. Latest update: new stretch goals and reviews, February 23rd.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go to the new stretch goals, you can see the barricades from the sci-fi set. Yeah. This is the render again. And the force field will be cast in the transparent resin again. So basically you will have this feel that it is kind of energy field like stuff.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah,
definitely.
And on the lower you have the another set introduction, which will be the bone and blood. Kind of a little terrifying stuff. But the idea is that the whole structures of bone and flesh is starting to. We wanted to capture the moment when the structures are created out of the ground. So where, for example, you can see the blood magic coming out and making some skeletons or other totems alive. So.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. I could see how that could be painted in. Actually really gory fashion.
Exactly.
So anybody listening, if you're a really messy painter and like blood and gore, this set would be actually really good for you to use.
Just take some pine, just stick it in anywhere and it will work.
Yeah. Paint some bone and then just cover it in goo and you're good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Sweet, something I can paint right.
Yeah, because I know I suck at glowing effects, so yeah. So I could definitely see this being used in a lot of different games. I think that's the one good thing that I've noticed. The more and more I look at your Kickstarter here, is the fact that the more, yes, you have it's very 40K centric, but you've kept it. You've taken out like a lot of the, I guess if you want to call it typical GW devices, and you've made it to where, yes, it will fit with 40K, but if you play other games, it will work just as well.
Yeah,
so, which I think is important.
We didn't want it to make it only for the 40K, because, this is the most popular game out there, obviously, but what we were mostly aiming for on the design process was how to make something cool in certain thematics. So, like basically it is not only for 40K, but I think that a lot of people can say that it is made for 40K because 40K covers pretty much every aspect of aesthetics with the armies they have. So you have orcs and mechanicus for Tesla, you have necrons for all the crystals or sci-fi stuff, you have Tau for sci-fi. So basically the reason behind that people will always say that, oh, you made it for 40K is because 40K have everything. They have vampires in the, like Space Marines chapters. They have like wolves. I mean, I don't think that there's like one thing that the Games Workshop didn't take as an aesthetic and implement into their games, right? Because you have Japanese culture in Tau. You have like the Eldars, which is, like the high elves with great technology, and you have all those aesthetics out there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. About the only thing they don't have is My Little Pony, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's they should stick with it, not implementing them.
Yeah, I think the worst thing I ever saw online is somebody painted an entire Hello Kitty army of Space Marines.
I saw it. I always, because like it meant to be a joke, and I always have so much appreciation that someone just really, like he needed to spend like at least 100 hours of painting it, and he just did it for a joke, which is that's kind of awesome. It's creepy, but also awesome.
Hats off to him, but now you got an entire Hello Kitty army, so have fun with that. Just staring you in the face with little bows painted on their helmets.
My favorite one, though, was when someone didn't have a Necron side flyer, and he used croissant.
Yes.
Instead of it. That was my that was just the best one ever.
Yeah, he ended up having like I think 3 or 4 of them on the battlefield that were literally just croissants that he stuck on flying stands.
Nothing wrong with rules of not Games Workshop product. Yeah.
Well, as long as you don't take it to a tournament, I guess. Hey, why not? That, if you get hungry and the thing crashes,
it should be that when your opponent, kill it, he can eat it. That would be like, for a corn player, just imagine that, taking, like a unit and just eating it in front of your enemy. That would be something cool, right?
Yeah, hats off to that guy. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Why do you keep trying to shoot him? He's going off the board. Because I'm hungry.
Yeah. Because over on this side, I've got ham. That's why. That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about your commission painting studio. We covered pretty much every aspect of the Kickstarter, but that's not all you guys do. You mentioned at the beginning you're a painting studio.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a little bit about what sets you apart from everybody else out there.
I think that the crucial factor is, first of all, the approach, which means that we have like a really, it is not something that we do in our spare time. It is our main job, every people here, and it is not something that we will, take lightly, or that we will, just do as a side project. So, if something happens in our families, that we'll just drop the project and you'll need to wait additional month or 2. But we have, set of rules that we follow as a company. So, for example, we've seen a lot of commissioned painters. For example, what they do is they can ask you, you're sending obviously a list you want to get painted, and then they will send you how much it will cost. Then they will start painting it, and they will say what, we needed to spend additionally 10 hours on that and this, and you need to pay more because it was more difficult than I expected, right? It happens sometimes. I'm not going to say that often or not, because I'm not 100% sure on what's the market, but it happens, and I know it happens, and we never do that. If we'll give you a price, you are sure that you will get what you want in those price, because we initially said it. So this is basically what you would expect from a professional company, right? That when they will tell something to you, they will stick by your word, right? So I think that the biggest differentiating factor is our approach on the promises we made, and on the quality, and on the on the responsibility as a company, because we're not just some individual that can tell like, oh, yeah, fuck it, I don't care, but we just a professional company that this is our, this is our living. So we need to make sure that everything is perfect, right?
Right. So speaking of the paint quality, do you guys only paint at like a high level, or do you kind of have tiers where it's like, okay, so you just want tabletop, so it's going to be 3 colors, a little bit of wash, and call it good. And then you go all the way up to, this isn't quite Golden Demon or Crystal Brush, but it's close, and it's going to cost you.
Yeah, we actually have 4 qualities, but we do not offer tabletop quality. We have like a so-called standard quality, but it will be probably somewhere around level 2 or 3 of most other studios, because what we believe in that, we just don't want to do bad-looking miniatures, basically. We want to start, set our bar way higher than the others. So if you go to our website, awakenrealms.com, you can check out the gallery. I can, show you a little bit different pieces that we did in different qualities.
Okay, give me just a second here.
Yeah, sure.
Awaken Realms. There it is.
Yeah, and you can just, click on the gallery.
Gallery. All right.
So I have seen some of the stuff that you've posted in various groups across Facebook land.
Facebook land, yeah. So yeah, basically, for example, if you click on the Warlord Titan, this is the biggest picture out there.
Oh wow!
So this is display quality, our highest quality. It was actually one of the most fun projects we ever had, because we had this Warlord Titan, and if you look closely into the plates, there are amazing freehands out there. It is actually, when people sometimes say that, this or that miniature is a work of art, I'm usually like, maybe, but this one is really, because you have like a different paintings of every plate, and the quality overall of the model was like a blast. So,
yeah, that's pretty crazy. You've got Tyranids on one side, orcs on the other.
Yeah.
And then on the shoulder shield here, I see it looks like it's like a server cherub.
Yeah,
wow.
Actually, those paintings are the memorials of the battles this Warlord Titan took in. That's why they are done, because a lot of people ask like, why Warlord Titan have Tyranids and orcs painted on his shoulder parts, but those are just the memorials of the battles he took apart. And if you look at the Aquila, it is made in a way that it is, shooting in face of those orcs and Tyranids. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. The detail on it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I say, that when our painters... Another factor that is differentiating us is we have people with art experience. Those are not only the hobbyists, but they are people, experienced in arts. So they can do stuff like that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Nick, are your painting skills up to this snuff, or what do you got?
I think I can splash some red on it.
Oh, that's good. That's a start.
Yeah, good job there. No, I definitely couldn't pull this off. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm like the greatest painter on the planet. I'm definitely not. But I'm looking at this going, okay, is there anything on this that I could feasibly do? I could. It would take me about 7 years.
Nah, it's not that hard. I mean, freehands are hard, but the rest is just skills, time, and dedication. All right, but if you guys go to the left menu, there's a painting quality.
Yes, display, top, high, and standard.
Exactly. And if you click, for example, standard, you should see some kind of I think that the Firestorm Armada is one of the coolest example of the standard quality usage.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and the thing is about the standard quality that, it is the cheapest you'll have, and it still looks pretty great on the table, because what we do is we like to use lightning effects to make them really stand out on the table. So basically, you have first of all the contrast of blue and reds, and the highlights, and it creates this very vibrant effect. So actually, it like even if it is a standard quality, you're probably gonna end up with a really good looking army.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Wow. Yeah, I definitely like the way that contrasting colors, especially in pieces that I know these ones in particular. For anybody who's listening, Firestorm Armada is a space faring game, and the pieces can be pretty small. They range because they try to keep everything in scale with ships. So the fact that you guys have jammed a lot of the contrast even into the smaller ships is a really, really good approach. I know a lot of kind of U.S. based painters, they would look at that and go, "Yeah, we're just going to throw a couple colors on it and call it good," especially for your smaller flyers.
Yeah,
that's me right here. You're lucky if it's a couple colors.
Oh, you're that guy. Okay, I see how it is now.
Primed? Hey, it's painted.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, it's always better than gray, right?
So. Yeah. I've been to a couple tournaments where people don't even have models completely built. It's just legs on stands.
Yeah. If you go to the high quality, you can actually, for example, say the Grey Knights Terminators. I think that will be one of the good example of the high quality.
Okay. Let's see here. Where are we at? Grey Knights Terminators. Ah, there you are, right in the middle.
Yeah. So basically, this will offer you just way more details done, and like better highlights, better colors, and
wow, yeah, definitely.
Also some effects like heavy chipping, so like the weathering or snow or special bases. So those are basically the difference. And the top quality offers you all of that plus like free hands. We had like really crazy Imperial Knights rush because everyone wanted to have an Imperial Knight back in the day. And we've done so many really cool design with, for example, fire or other stuff, and it was kind of fun. So in top quality, you can mostly look at those Imperial Knights, and they're really cool looking.
Yeah, see, there's the Blood Angels Imperial Knight, Chaos Knight. Yeah, let's take a look at this Blood Angels Knight here.
Yeah, you have the free hands as well done. So.
Yeah, wow, okay. Yeah, you got the glowing effect in the eyes, you got the glowing effect on the plasma cannon.
Yeah. I think also when you'll probably ask anyone outside of the Awaken Realms, probably what they will say about why we are different from other studios is the lightning effects. Some love it, some hate it, the OSL, but we can do actually a range of things. We can do things without the lighting effects, but yeah.
Personally, I'm a fan of lighting effects. It just, you're talking about a giant walking death machine. This thing, yeah, it's going to have some glowing bits.
I'm always a little bit, maybe not fully sure when people will say that it is unrealistic, because this is the biggest argument that people will say, that oh, this is unrealistic, it will not glow. But my answer is dude, we're talking about a walking war machine in the century where there's only war and everything. So we might have the problem of realistic out of the way, actually. So yeah. the rule of cool applies. So if it looks really good, so why not? Why the hell not having it?
Exactly. Awesome. And then let's take a look at the nice stuff.
And the display, yeah, exactly. The display, you have pretty much everything from conversion to freehands to crazy dioramas, just whatever you need.
Actually, talking about dioramas, I'm looking at one of them right now. It's a Chaos Marine and a Space Marine, and they're standing on a platform above some lava.
Yeah.
And they've got some crazy lighting effects.
Yeah.
But
the Star Wars diorama?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was actually before the movie premiere, so we wanted to give a little touch on,
It's awesome because the Marines themselves are just like washed out. They don't have any lighting except for from their swords, their lightsabers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And when you look at the display quality, one of my favorite pieces as well is the if you check for Irvana, the Tau suits made in the city camo.
Oh, there it is, Irvana. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And the cool thing about it is that we have a client from the United Emirates that ordered a whole army of those in display quality. So yeah, I like when you hit a jackpot on oil, you can afford all of the like kind of stuff. So they decided to make a whole army on display quality, which cost a lot, but just the end effect is sure.
United Emirates has a house in Dubai. He flies his own private jet
Exactly.
down the street to the mall.
Yeah. So they can afford this shit. It's just like
yeah,
paying small bills.
whatever. Here's $20,000. Just get it done.
Yeah,
I don't care.
yeah. Just, like
I just bought a Ferrari because I had the money in my pocket. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh yeah, that's killer work. You guys do actually some really, really fantastic work. I take it a lot of it is like half freehand, half airbrush.
Yeah. I mean, we really like to combine a lot of effects. There are some people who hate airbrushing because they say, but I think that it is just a tool, and it depends how do you use it. So we are combining everything from the dry brushing to airbrushing to just normal paints to freehands to weathering to like all the vast techniques into the final effects. And I don't believe that like airbrush is bad or wrong or good. It's just a tool, and it all depends on how you use it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we do actually have to start wrapping this up. I could talk about this all day long. However, unfortunately, some of us have to still go to work. So,
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm working right now. So.
Oh, well, yeah. So for you, this is perfect. So, is there any closing comments you want to throw in there? Nick, I know you probably want to make a few in there.
Well, I would just want to thank you guys and all the people listening. So, yeah, thanks for having me, and it was great to talk with you.
Oh, yeah, it's been fun. Definitely. Anybody who's listening, definitely check out awakenrealms.com. Awakenrealms.com, if I could talk. Wow, holy crap. And then definitely check out their Kickstarter Awakening. If you're if you need any type of a portal or realm gate or anything to just spice up your battlefield, it's a great start. High quality resins. So, Nick, any other closing comments?
You know what? Actually, so there's a Facebook group that they created for people who have liked their stuff, and on it they posted a poll and for something that they're releasing, and I was happy to see this morning that it's high up on the ancient fountain. I need one for Frostgrave, so
All right.
hopefully it keeps getting the votes.
Well, as far as it goes, probably we'll start working on it in like next following days. So yeah, it probably won the poll by far.
Nice.
Excuse
Awesome.
me. And finally, love everything I've seen on the Kickstarter, and at some point in the next couple days, we should be getting review copies, and
Yep.
Tim and I will take it, really check them out, and we'll probably be posting a special podcast with the review.
Yeah, definitely. That's it's in the works. Awesome. Well, Marcin, thank you so much for coming on today. We really
cheers.
appreciate it. I know it's a little early for us, and I know you just got to work, and normally you get there a little bit later than this, but
Yeah.
we really appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Cheers. See ya.
So I don't normally do edits. However, when we were doing the Skype call on this interview, we ended up having a bit of an issue when Marcin was talking about the bases. So I know he tried repeating it twice, and for some reason on his end of the line, we ended up having a couple of issues. So let me go ahead and explain to you what he was saying. With his base inserts that he has for all of his sets that he's got coming out for the Awakening, you can actually use them on beveled edge bases, and they will fit directly into round lip bases. So you can use them for any game out there on the market. Thanks again for listening to Skirmish Supremacy. We'll catch you next time.